GYOKERES Arsenal transfer deadline. According to Football London, there is a date set on an Arsenal transfer deadline. If they cannot get Victor GYOKERES over the line, they will look for alternative targets. There's also an update with regards to Mikel Mourinho transfer deadline. Football London have been very, very active on their reports regarding Arsenal. Very, very, very busy down the channel. We've got the Community Shield. We've got Tottenham versus Bayern Munich. Make sure you have subscribed if you haven't already. Make sure you drop a like on the video as well if you are new around here. The road to 20,000 subscribers is well and truly on. Plus, we've got links. Leroy Sané to Arsenal. What is the perfect outcome for a transfer if you're an Arsenal fan? Because there's a lot of different links on the timelines. Is it going to be Victor GYOKERES? Is it going to be a winger? Where are Arsenal going to end up? Well, we'll start with Mikel Mourinho. Fabrizio Romano gave his followers an update yesterday with regards to Mourinho and said Arsenal are still heavily interested. And as it stands right now, they are just waiting to basically waiting to cross the T's and dot the I's when it comes to Mikel Mourinho to Arsenal. There's a belief it's going to happen. There's also a belief that Zubimendi will be a Liverpool player. According to Now Arsenal, that they've put out some news saying Arsenal finally agree a deal worth for 17 million for Mikel Mourinho. Personal terms is obviously agreed. Then Football London have put out saying Mikel Mourinho to Arsenal 25 million fee. Personal terms agreed. And he will be registered for the squad. So there's a belief, various different reports, various different journalists coming out saying that this deal will be done. And it's only a matter of time before he becomes an Arsenal player. Whether that's going to be in the coming days, whether that's going to be today. But I do think we will get a here we go very, very, very soon with regards to Mikel Mourinho joining Arsenal. In terms of the rest of the transfer window, so they've got Calafiori over the line. They've permanently signed David Raya. What's going to be the interesting remainder of the window is Arsenal receive definitive Victor GYOKERES transfer message and Arteta deadline after new talks. That is the headline from a Football London article. Now, every single major newspaper, every single source in Portugal is heavily linking, and this article come out earlier this morning. Now, Victor GYOKERES, there's a belief in the sporting camp that if the money comes in, he will be able to leave. It's a release clause. There's not a hidden clause in, for instance, with the Eberechi Eze release clause at Crystal Palace. The release clause is around £60 million, but Crystal Palace want around £50 million of that up front. In terms of the Mikel Mourinho deal, that's a relatively straightforward deal for Arsenal to kind of get over the line. Victor GYOKERES is going to be a tough transfer because he's got an £84 million release clause, which is 100 million euros. I don't know off the top of my head how much fee is going to be up front, but the problem that Arsenal are going to do is the minute they make that move for Victor GYOKERES, Liverpool, Chelsea, and a few other teams will definitely pick up their interest. At the moment, I think the Arsenal priority is to get Mikel Mourinho over the line. But there's also a lot of reports coming out linking Leroy Sané to Arsenal. Now, Leroy Sané, I've had this chat on the Football Terrace a number of times, speaking about him. I think he's a very, very, very good winger who would quite easily improve Arsenal. He's very dangerous in the wide area. He's got blistering pace. He knows the Premier League. He's won Premier Leagues with City. He knows Arteta. He's been coached under Arteta before while he was on the coaching staff at Manchester City. But I don't know if Mikel Mourinho, I think, will be an Arsenal player before the first game of the season. In terms of the forward situation, they want to bring in a forward. Kieran Horn from Football London has basically come out to saying, Real Sociedad's Mikel Mourinho remains the priority. I'll bring it up on screen for you guys. Target with talks ongoing after he was left out of the Spanish squad for pre-season friendly against Union Berlin. Martin Zubimendi is another player of Sociedad potentially on his way to the Premier League club, with Liverpool exploring a move, though he was named in the squad to face the German club. The Gunners are currently keen on signing Mourinho swiftly, with a rough transfer timeline for his hopeful arrival made clear. On the striker front, both Victor Gyökeres and Current Club Sporting have sent a clear message to Arsenal in their opening day of the Portuguese league victory over Rio Ave. With that said, Football London have taken some of a look at Arsenal transfer rumours and provided them with a fresh perspective. It then goes on to say, unsurprisingly, Gyökeres was able to get himself on the score sheet in a 3-1 victory over Rio Ave. After setting up Pedro Gonçalves for the opener, the Swedish international reacted quickest to a deflected shot from what likely many more goals on the upcoming season. Football London says it would be one hell of a coup if Arsenal can land Gyökeres before the transfer deadline day. However, it doesn't look like the deal will go through, especially with the new campaign in Portugal underway. And this is my point. If the deadline for Victor Gyökeres is up and they think it's unlikely, Football London, but then you've got other newspapers and other journalists saying the deal could still happen, what is Arsenal's transfer plan? Is it to bring in Leroy Sané? Now, if you bring on Leroy Sané, the wages are absolutely extortionate. His wages are ridiculous. He's on over 360,000 euros a week. Is it to bring in João Pedro? Pedro Neto was one of the names on the lists. He's now a Chelsea player, which I'm absolutely furious about because he was Tottenham's main transfer target. So what is going to be the backup plan with regards to Victor Gyökeres? If Football London are coming out and saying that the deadline is up and it's going to be a tough transfer to get over the line, does a Leroy Sané improve Arsenal? Yes. Does he fit the system? Yes. He can play that right-sided forward role very, very, very good. He also gives good squad depth to Bukayo Saka. You've looked at the way Havertz has played in midfield. Could Leandro Trossard play in the striker role? I do think regardless of whoever they are looking at, they have to bring in another forward. Whether that's João Pedro, whether that's Sané, whether that's someone else. You've also got links with Victor Osimhen. Could he become an Arsenal player? The Portugal League has just started, and which was last night, and Victor Gyökeres was on the score sheet. Now, because the league's already started, is it unlikely Victor Gyökeres leaves? In my opinion, yes. Because the transfer window, I don't know when the transfer window shuts in Portugal, but what I would say is it's going to be very, very difficult for Portugal to go and replace a Victor Gyökeres once the season's already started. So who is the alternative transfer options? João Pedro, Victor Osimhen, Leroy Sané, maybe Bakayoko from PSV. There's a number of targets out there, but I think at the moment in time, there's probably other realistic options than a Victor Gyökeres. I think it's unlikely at this moment in time. There is an agreement in place that the sell-on clause between Sporting Lisbon and Coventry has been lowered. That kind of tells me that they are anticipating a sale. It's going to be a lot harder to get him out of a Sporting Lisbon shirt now the league's just started. Plus everyone's going to know that Sporting Lisbon are going to have 100 million euros burning in their pocket. So if it's going to happen, if the Gyökeres transfer to Arsenal is going to happen, it's probably going to happen in the next week or so to kind of give Sporting Lisbon enough time to replace him. But I do think Leroy Sané could be an option. João Pedro could be an option. Mikel Mourinho will probably be an Arsenal player in the coming days. Let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure you drop the like. Make sure you have subscribed to the channel. The road to 20,000 subscribers is well and truly on. We're 562 away from 19,000. If you haven't already, go down, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all soon. Thank you for watching. I am